Tokozani, peace and greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me and for this next mini interview for a wonderful instructor that we have for African Mystery School. I present to you Makhosi Hefisah Nejeser. I'm super excited to unpack what this wonderful being is going to be offering to African Mystery School. So let's just get right into it, Makhosi. If you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your journey into Ubungoma and just into spirituality in general. You are the royal shaman, so like let's unpack that and explain what that actually is.
Oh, so my journey really started from childhood. I always had spiritual gifts, but in my upbringing, there just wasn't time for that. Like that, it just wasn't really a thing. So I grew up in a household. My mom was a single teen mom of two, and I was the oldest, and so I've always had this level of responsibility, or this idea that I have to prove myself. I have to make something of myself, right? I didn't want to be a statistic. So growing up and then up through college, I was always a high achiever. So I was always top of my class. I was always out hustling for something, trying to make my way in the world. So when I graduated from college, um, I had been planning to go to medical school, but I had a son, and that just changed my perspective of the meaning of life, period. And
Mhm.
so I, at that time, started in direct sales, and I blew up to the top. So I was in the top 1% of this company within 9 months. And I discovered something really interesting at the top. I discovered that this idea of success that we've been sold was not fulfilling at all. So that encouraged me to explore this kind of nagging about, why are we here? What is my role here? What is the meaning of life, etc. And that took me to first enter the mystery schools of ancient Kemet through the Dogon of West Africa. So I was in that initiation for 3 years. And then after that, ancestors themselves started to initiate me and guide me to eventually who became my spiritual mother, Makhosi Singh. And I ended up in South Africa in 2018, completing um, my initiation and became a Sangoma.
Okay. Okay, that sounds pretty similar to my journey. It's interesting that I find a lot of people who have spiritual callings, they begin with Kemet, and studying ancient Egypt. That definitely was my doorway in, and just beginning, of my journey into spirituality. I think I had to pass, that particular mystery in order to be deemed worthy, and responsible enough to handle the next levels of what was going to be given to me. That
Mm-hmm.
definitely is I would say, my foundation. I started in that, and I studied in comedic science for about 7 years before I even knew what a sangoma was. And then I quickly found out, once as that journey came to a close, I found my teacher as well. I literally landed right there on her grass. And she explained to me what was happening. So I think that's pretty cool. So thank you for sharing that little bit about your journey. If you don't mind, if you could just tell us a little bit about what you are going to be offering in African Mystery School. We kind of started our conversation off talking about what you have been experiencing just in your day-to-day life with people, and it's interesting that it ties into what you're going to be offering and sharing with the initiates in African Mystery School.
Yeah. So we're going to be diving into unlocking ancestral abundance. And that does include stuff around money. Um, money is a big part of our ancestral inheritance, the ability to create really stable, fruitful, prosperous lives. But also abundance goes much deeper. So abundance is really access to opportunities and network and love and all of those things, but being willing and open to receiving those and also knowing your worth as a
Oh,
human being.
that's so big. Knowing your worth, knowing your value, right? And having that magnified and mirrored into the world. That's deep ancestral healing stuff right there, because when you start dealing with money, I tell you, all them shadows and fears and things that come up, I give
Yeah.
thanks to you and your ancestors, even as we have been preparing Afrikan Mysteries School, just my own blockages that are coming up as I'm doing this. It's very revealing, to see where the light is being shined on those places that I still need to do my continued work in that. So I'm excited for your 6-week class, because I'm going to be in there taking my notes too.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic.
I already know it is. I already know it is. Spirit had already told me, like, we need you. So, being that you have a pretty thorough understanding of rites of passage and initiation, what advice would you give to the potential initiates who may be thinking about signing up and participating in the 9-month rites of passage Afrikan Mystery School? Like, what advice would you share with them?
The thing that I would bring people back to is to recognize the importance of having these moments in your life where you have a clear delineation of moving from one phase into the other. We sometimes don't fully grasp the value of investing in our own transformation, but there is no greater experience of being human. Otherwise, you just exist. So without these very intentional, conscious decisions, then we end up having the experience of repeating cycles again and again and again. And so what I see this coming together of so many incredible teachers is offering to anyone who's considering joining is creating this time and space in your life where you move from one phase and one experience and step into the next higher level of the experience that you came for. And so this is not just about learning a bunch of information. This is about marking the transformation of one phase of your life into a completely different experience in your life.
That is awesome. I didn't even think of it that way, but when I think about Bantu tradition in general, the way in which they guide the person through the process, it's definitely distinct in various phases and aspects, right? And each phase within and of itself is an initiation, a higher initiation. You continue to rise up. So even in your ancestorship, even when you're, a baby, or being formed in the womb, all of that is a part of your initiation. You are being prepared for the next step. So yeah, thinking about that, there are 6 different portals within this 9-month journey. So each one is going to build on top of each other. So just thank you so much for your time and your energy and sharing. Do you have any parting words that you just want to share with the potential initiates?
Mm. The words that I have are: do not overthink, follow spirit.
Makhosi. And that's that on that, okay? Can't get no more clear than that. Can't get no more clear on that. Don't allow your mind to deter you from what your spirit is calling for.
Yes.
That has been my best guide thus far throughout all these years and different things that I have encountered. Continue to listen to spirit. You'll feel it in your body when you know it's true for you.
Absolutely.
Yes. So thank you so much, Makhosi, for taking time just to share a little bit with us. And everyone, you will definitely be seeing more of Makhosi over these next 6 weeks as we begin to prepare for Afrikan Mystery School. Peace.